Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
All right, we're up and rolling.
This is the first interview I've ever done except for Barbara Walters 30 years ago.
Holy shit.
When the first question she asked me was, I was with Streisand at the time, she said, "Are you a hustler?" And I said, "If you mean, do I hustle every fucking day of my life? Yes, I'm a hustler."
What does that mean? Are you a hustler? What was she implying?
That I was using Barbara.
Wow.
That I was a hairdresser with the biggest star in the world.
Isn't that crazy? She would never dare ask that question if you were a woman.
No.
And you know, you were with Roger Moore or whatever.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Never.
She was angry, you know, and yeah, she was
That's
angry.
a wild question to ask someone. Like a person who's a hairdresser can't fall in love with some famous singer?
Yeah.
That's not possible?
Yeah. Well,
Like
she-
are they out of reach?
Yeah, I think that the fact that I was making decisions for her, or not making decisions, I was creating alternatives for her, and she was like, "Yeah, man, Star is Born" was something that when I first read it, I called her and I said, "I read this thing." She said, "You schmuck, it's been made 3 times before," and she hung up the phone on me. That was 1976.
Wow.
And that's when I met Elvis.
I went through your IMDb. Holy shit, have you produced a lot of movies?
Yeah. A lot of marijuana, man. A lot of getting fucked up, Jack.
You made so many movies, man.
Yeah, over 100.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, because I always was a storyteller. And as a kid, I didn't always tell the truth, but they were my stories. My life became my story. My stories became my life. The things that I'm doing today are things that I said I would do. I was in love with Ali. I made Ali the life story of. I was in love with Presley. I wanted him to be in Star is Born. We flew up to Vegas, and we met with him. And he was so fat he couldn't sit in a chair. He was about 100 pounds overweight.
Wow.
And he said, "I got a problem, man. I got a problem." I said, "What's your problem?" He said, "I'm having a fight with my girlfriend." And I said, "What does that mean?" He says, "Well, she's flying in my 747 for 2 hours. I haven't decided whether to let her land or not." So, yeah, so I've been lucky. I've been a really blessed, lucky guy.
Did you meet Elvis when he was doing karate?
Yeah.
So that was when he was Ed Parker's
No.
student?
I met him once when he was really fat, and Colonel Parker called me and said he wants to do the movie, but you can't be a part of it. So I called, because I was a producer. I created it. I wrote it. It was my thing, man. I was obsessed with this movie. And the love story was me and Barbara. We copied it. And Barbara said, "Fuck him." I said, "Fuck you." And so he didn't do it. And then later, after the movie, Priscilla Presley called me and said to me, "I got to tell you, he wanted to see it on opening day." And he did. And he cried that he didn't do it, because I would have got to the other side of Elvis. I would have got to the pain. I would have got to the feelings. I would have got past the other thing. It would have been gigantic, because I saw that in him. I could feel the pain in him.
So when you met him, it was towards the end then? Like
Yes,
this time?
towards the end.
Did you watch the film, the new one, the new Elvis movie?
Fantastic.
It's amazing,
Amazing.
right?
Yes, because they did it differently.
Yeah,
They
did
did
an
a completely
amazing
different
job.
take. It was amazing.
The way the way it was edited and put together with all the the things in between the scenes, it was incredible.
Yeah.
It was so good. But it's like that story is such a unique story because there had never been a person like him before that was that famous.
Ever. He
It's
still
like-
gives me chills, man.
Michael Jackson was like the next one,
Yeah,
right?
he
There had
was-
never been someone like him either.
Michael Jackson and I went to him, and when I was doing Batman, and I had Prince to do the music, and I wanted Michael to do the warring theme, so it was like a fight. So Michael Jackson plays Batman, the guy, and Prince plays the Joker, Jack Nicholson. But Michael backed out. We became friends. He took me to his house. He showed me Thriller. And he said, I show him this because you did American Werewolf in London, and I copied you to do Thriller.
Wow. American Werewolf in London's the greatest horror movie of all time.
Yes, I wrote that. I mean, I didn't write it. But
You saw The Wolf Out There? I fucking worshiped that movie.
Yeah.
That movie was so fun. It was such a great movie because it was such a great combination of sheer terror and comedy.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, thank you, man.
It's an amazing movie.
That's what we did.
It stands the test of time. I
Yeah.
watched it again like a year ago. It's
John Landis.
fucking great.
John Landis.
Oh.
He's the guy that unfortunately
Yeah.
Yeah.
The accident.
Yeah.
Helicopter. It's
Yeah.
terrible. His that American Werewolf in London movie. What you guys did was it's just like a real like a horror classic.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a few like The Shining. There's a few
Yeah,
classics.
amazing.
American Werewolf in London is the monster movie classic.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things that I was lucky enough to do is Caddyshack. Oh. And everybody golfs, so I'm going to make a new one now. And
Nice.
I just got off the phone with Shaq. I'm going to put everybody together in this motherfucker. It's the elite, which will be Billy, Chevy, that own the club, and they one day get Madoffed. Now all the guys, our kind of guys that have money that they turn down, they take over the club, and these guys work for them. And it's going to be a very funny story.
Wow. How come no one's done another good werewolf movie?
Because any movie that you make is a gift from God. They're so hard.
Is that what it is?
It's so hard, man. I give people Academy Award just for getting the movie made. The pieces, the agents, the story, the acting, the distribution, the this, the that, the bullshit, the lying, the cheating. It's impossible.
Wow.
I have a movie that I'm going to do. It's called Africa. And it's like out of Africa. And Eric Roth wrote it, who wrote, he's one of the greatest writers in Hollywood. And he wrote it 22 years ago for me. I've been developing this for 20 years because I never got the love story right. I had Brad Pitt, I had Angelina Jolie. They broke up, the story fell apart, but I'm working now on getting the love story, and then I'm going to make the movie. It's about a journalist doing a story on a guy who's trying to stop the poaching and the killing of all the animals in Africa. Beautiful love story, loses 2 legs. You got he got shot down by the poachers.
Ooh.
And we see the whole black experience and the culture, and they have one day of fighting, and you see swords and shit. It's amazing, all in the African culture.
Wow. What excites you most about making movies at this point in your life?
Stories. Yeah. Like
It's got to excite you.
Like Dana White fucking makes me crazy. Crazy. I love him. He wrote me something, JP, I love you. I love you, motherfucker. And he can box. He was going to box, knucklehead.
Tito
I
Ortiz.
saw that on the thing. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, he's got big balls. Tito's not tough.
Tito's not tough?
No, he's tough. I'm saying
he's
he's
very
not
tough.
tough.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
tough.
very tough. I was like,
Big,
man,
tall
you have high
guy, but-
standards.
No, he's
I
not.
was like,
No.
you didn't think he-
No.
I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Although on the standards, the fight that fella did the show before last with the blood all over the face.
That
was,
happens so often. Which fight was that?
Where no, he put the blood.
Oh, Luke Rockhold.
Yeah, he was
and Paulo Costa.
Brilliant.
That was
until
crazy.
that moment. Then I thought it was a poor loser. I mean, he should have, as opposed to the heavy Samoan guy who got beat up by the big black guy, he was a great loser.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Tai Tuivasa.
Took his kids, took his thing.
I think Rockhold and that guy had so many bad words to say to each other, like during training
That's
camp
probably
and
what
leading
it
up
was.
to
Yeah.
it.
It was
'cause
like
he was saying,
biting of the ear, like Tyson biting the ear.
Well, except it's legal. Like, you're allowed to, like, smear your blood all over a guy. And guys do it all the time. They just don't do it that blatantly.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, if
before.
guys have, like, a cut on their head, you will oftentimes see them, like, leaning towards the guy's
Oh,
face.
yeah, during the
And
fight. Yeah.
they know that blood sucks to get in your eye. They're
Yeah.
not stupid.
Yeah.
But it's legal.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something they're actively trying to pursue as a technique, but if they find that they're bleeding from their forehead and they see the guy's face right there, they'll just do it. But the way Luke Rockhold did it was just crazy.
Yeah.
He just rubbed his bloody nose all over the guy's
Because
face.
he's a bit of a bitch.
Luke Rockhold is?
Yeah.
I would not say that.
No, in my opinion, as an audience.
For doing that?
No, just in general.
Really?
The way he behaves. It's just something about him that, I don't know, I see him as an actor. I see him as a movie star. I see him But then that fight, he was amazing. So maybe he isn't.
He's cursed with being impossibly good looking.
Maybe that's what it is.
That's a big part of it. It's easy
He's
to hate him.
so pretty. Maybe that's what it is.
That's what it is. It bothers men.
Yes.
I always say that the only reason anyone gets laid is because Luke Rockhold didn't show up first.
Yes, it's true. And he's got a beautiful body.
He's perfect.
And he's tall.
Yeah, and so that bothers people. So if he was just a regular guy, it wouldn't bother you as much.
Could be.
Part of the arrogance that bothers people, but all prize fighters have arrogance. You know, there's it's so common. You kind of have to have a certain amount of arrogance and bravado to be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't all. Some of them are pretty humble. They keep it to themselves. But inside, there's a bravado there. And when it comes from a super good-looking guy, it's
hard to take.
People don't like it.
It's hard to take. That's why people get mad at me, man. I still got hair. You know what I mean?
You do. Mine's gone.
So it's been. I've had an amazing career. The UFC thing has been my hobby. I try to pick every fight before it happens. Within about 30, I made it into the round by the way they walk and move and stuff and everything. It's like a hobby.
Weren't you entertained by that Luke Rockhold fight, though? That was very entertaining.
Phenomenal.
That was an incredible fight.
Phenomenal. I loved him for that because he let it all go.
And there were scenes in it that were like a movie where he said,
yes,
fuck you,
yes,
and then he punched him in the face.
It was definitely a movie. Even you said it.
It was like a movie.
You said on the thing, this is like a movie. And I was like, it is like a movie.
It really was. It was like if you saw that in a movie, you'd be like, come on.
Especially if you got to know him and had his life before and realized that this was his real, in his way, because he's been so beautiful. This is his license of manhood because now he could actually be tough and beautiful.
Well, he was even when he was the champion. He was a Strikeforce champion, and he was the UFC champion. And when he was in his prime, the thing about an elite high-level fighter, and this is the reality of it, the consequences on your body are so grave.
Yeah.
There's so much going wrong. Your neck, and your fucking shoulder, and your knee. It's always happening. And so these guys only have a few years to perform at the elite of the elite level.
I saw it with Victor when that first guy knocked out.
Oh,
went across the ring. He didn't bang,
Vanderlei
bang,
Silva.
bang. It was, it was
He charged Vanderlei
the guy
Silva.
took half his face off. It was in Oklahoma.
Oh, you talking about the first fight? So the first fight in the UFC, that was against Trey
Victor
Telligman?
ran across, with the redheaded kid.
I don't think he had red hair.
Or he had light hair, but his
light
face,
hair.
he had to go to the hospital. He broke the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I would imagine Vitor had crazy hand speed.
He did, in those
Still
shoulders,
does.
in the shoulders,
Yeah.
and the back.
Yeah, then he beat Scott Ferozzo and won the tournament, the heavyweight tournament. He was 19 years old.
Yeah. I loved it when he took out the bar fighter.
Tank Abbott.
Yeah.
You were telling me that you knew Carlson Gracie. You knew all those
I
guys.
trained
back
with
then.
him
That's wild.
for 3 years, man.
Was
Every
it
day.
when he was on Hawthorne?
When he was at my house.
Oh, he came to your house to train you.
With Victor.
Oh, but that was back when they were calling him Victor.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier. Yeah.
I introduced Victor to marijuana.
Oh, no.
Because he wouldn't train, and I got him loaded, and he stayed in the gym the whole day.
Really?
Yeah.
He wouldn't train unless
Well,
he
he
got
was
him high?
lazy. He was lazy. A lot of guys that are good looking and built like that, they're lazy. Because he beats people up like that.
Well, he was a spectacular
He
athlete.
was, yeah.
He was so fast.
Yeah, that's when I called Dana and I said, remember me? We almost bought the thing together and da-da-da.
When I think about a guy like Vitor, who's really at his best at between 185 and 205 pounds.
Yeah.
If Vitor had come up now, where the weight classes are already established, and he wouldn't have to be fighting heavyweights. He was fighting guys like Randy Couture. Scott Ferozzo was a big guy. If he was able, from the time he was 19, to fight at the weight class that they're natural to his body, he'd been one of the greatest of all time.
I'll tell you the name, see if you remember it. Al Stanky.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I found him, and I put Victor with Al Stanky.
Oh, no kidding.
Jim
Al
La
Stanky
Hoya's
was
guy.
hilarious.
That's how he learned how to fight.
People
Victor.
I forgot about Al Stanky.
I found him,
You
and I
brought
did a
him up again.
movie on him.
Al Stanky was hilarious.
In the cops, and he was a tough motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
He could swim. We would race in the pool. I would do 10 laps. He'd do 30 laps in the water. He's amazing guy. But he taught Victor how to bob and how to weave and everything.
Yeah.
And in the UFC in those days, there was no stand-up. It was all on the ground, almost. 80%.
Well, nobody had ground skills like Vitor had, but
And
also had the
could
kind of
box.
hands
Yeah,
that he had.
exactly,
That
yeah.
was what was interesting.
Yeah.
I just think that if you go to the early part of his career, if that guy was in a weight class that was natural to his body, like 185-pound weight class, something like that.
I agree with you. Would have been one of the great champions.
He would have been one of the great champions.
Yeah, I
Because
trained years ago as a kid.
he got up to like 240 pounds at one
Yeah, I
point.
know.
It was
I know.
way too big.
He got to 241.
Yeah.
I went to 281. I'm now down. I got to lose another 30 pounds.
What are you doing to lose it?
No food, raw fish, and vegetables, and that's it.
Raw fish.
Yeah, I love it, man. And
Yeah?
I have a chef, and she's the greatest chef in the world, and she cooks for me wherever I go. And I got to lose another. I want to get. I'm 260. I want to get down to. I really like to get down to 200. I'd like
you have a
to
trainer?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's important.
Brazilian, great guy.
That's awesome.
Amazing black belt trainer guy, champion from Brazil. I brought him over. He's fantastic.
So
You
you're
know?
doing jiu-jitsu with him?
As much as I can because I'm all broke up.
Yeah.
My knees.
So he's got you doing other stuff too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Having someone like that, especially for a guy like you that's very busy.
Yeah.
Having someone like, this is my job.
I trained for my life, man. From the morning I train. I live in my spa. I've never gone to an office. Everybody revolves around my schnoodle. I have great, talented people. When you were talking to Elon Musk about how does he do it all, delegation, finding smart people. You put them, then you don't have to do nothing. You just tell them what you want to do, and they figure out how to do it, and you adjust it. I do that. I run like 30 companies.
Oh, that's genius. That's probably fun too.
I'm excited. That's why I'm breathing heavy. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to go.
I know, you seem excited.
I am. This
get
is
fired
it.
up.
I
Talking
will
about
do
training.
this again. This is my one. I was going to do a book. They gave me like a big advance. Barbara and everybody got angry. So I gave the money back and I never did it. This is the first time I'm being interviewed, really being interviewed, where someone could watch and say, oh, that's who he is.
Well, I always think about it just like having a conversation. Like I've always just wanted to talk to you. Just think, when I look at your body of work and the history that you've had in making movies, it's incredible.
I when I did Stars Born and we came back from everybody put me down. I was like a joke. I was a pimp. I was that how dare me produce the biggest movie with the biggest star, and I must have a 12-foot dick. Although I did learn in life that I'm actually a lesbian. So I really learned how to make love with women once I saw my friend, this model, and this little lesbian lady, and I said, what do you do? How did you get her? Because I would always come too fast. I could never make it work right. You know what I mean? Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And I learned now that with my wife, my lady, we make love for 3 hours. It becomes an orchestra with my love for her and my gratitude that she saved my life by bringing spirituality into me. Because I was like getting tired of living.
So when you say spirituality, like in what form?
Studying Joe Dispenza, genius. You should look him up. He's a fucking 100,000 people, shells out 100,000. He's like you, but he's amazing. Studying people every night for 6-7 hours, learning. With therapy, working on what it was like to be in jail as a kid, see my father die in front of me, my best friend shot as he was going over the fence in juvie. A lot of stuff that happened to me as a kid.
You just glossed over some pretty crazy stories.
Yeah.
You saw your father die in front of you?
Yeah. Shit, piss, and go. Whew. Yeah, it took a long time to get over it, but I never got over it. But women saved my life because every time I got somebody good, she was smart, she was talented, and she filled in that thing. Barbara gave me a career, and my wife gave me love.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And Peter Guber, I love him. We broke up, not in a good way. One of the smartest, most wonderful men I ever met in my life. I wish I had not lost him as my friend after a partnership of 15 years.
What happened? How did it go south?
I almost fucked his wife.
Whoops.
We got so close that she started feeling for me, and because I'm a talker and Peter isn't, she started getting very connected to me. Not in my intention, not in my want, it didn't thing. I didn't, but I did feel romantic because she was different than Barbara too. She was very loving, but I never touched her, and I think that was a breach that my karma, it kicked my ass for 10 years. I was so fucked up by losing him. It took me a while to get myself back and to take responsibility for what I did. I never touched her, but she would come sit in the jacuzzi with me and 10 other girls and smoke dope, and it just got too close.
Is that one of the hardest things about putting together all these films? Is the relationships
Yes.
between all the people that are involved?
Yeah, you have to be a master manipulator.
And you got to be with each other all the time.
All the time.
Because you're working 16-hour days.
16-hour days, and you have to get them to do things they don't want to do. That's why I didn't do the thing with Dana.
And you
I
have to
didn't want to be
maintain
in
a
Vegas
vision.
with fighters. I wanted to be with girls with chitties and everything else.
I like it. When you go titties,
I
you have
love
to
titties.
show me.
You know. But I, no, you know, I was a professional ladies' man because I was a hairdresser. So every day, if I wasn't busy, I had to go out and find pretty girls and say, "Come here, let me do your hair."
When you're doing these films and it takes like 16-hour days and there's all these different personalities you're juggling, how do you keep like a vision of like
Same way you guys did in the UFC. I have a vision of the movie. I sat with Dana and I said, "This is bigger than the Power Rangers, Dana." And Dana said, "I never thought." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Because you guys naked and thing." And I was dating Catherine Zeta-Jones. We went to a big fight in Oklahoma where there was a gun show right here. After the fight, the Brazilian wiped everybody out. All the red guys, redneck people, they started fighting with us. And I was with Catherine and Victor and Hoyce and Hickson and Carlson. Everybody got around us and walked us to our car to get us out.
Wow.
And that's when Catherine said, "Man, is Victor sexy?" I said, "Okay." You know what I mean? I said, "Let's open it." I opened him a dojo. I did everything. I put him in business.
Wow. It's a crazy history you've had.
Yes, I have, sir.
You've had a lot of wild experiences in your life.
Yeah, and as a little boy, my dad was an American Indian, Cherokee. My mom's Italian. So I was riding horses early, and they came to cast the 10 Commandments. And I got picked out of like 1,000 people to be in that and meet John Derrick, Cecil B. DeMille.
Whoa.
And I was an extra riding on a big bison with a little goat. And the guy said, "If any of these animals go to the bathroom, call pickup, because when they go to the bathroom, it's that big, because they're like 1,500 pounds." So we're going down the thing, and my little goat starts to shit. And I went, "Oh, pickup." And they cut, and DeMille came out and said, "Who said that?" I said, "I did." He said, "The fucking big ones, man, not the little ones. Now shut the fuck up," or something like that, you know?
Oh, he should have been more specific.
Yeah, well, they're just little teeny things. you
Yeah,
know?
little pellets.
But yeah, so from that time on, I got hooked in the movie business. So something about, look, the UFC is a movie. I went to Dana years ago and said, I want to do your movie.
Yeah, but can you encapsulate something like the UFC in a 2-hour movie?
No.
No. But you can do your best.
You'd have to tell the story from the Gracie's angle.
Yeah.
And the street fights and the
UFC
14-hour
1.
fights.
Yeah, UFC
Through
1
the
is the
thing.
story.
Yeah, oh yeah, man.
That's the real story. It's the Hoyce Gracie story.
Yeah,
that's
that's
the real
me.
story.
That's how I got in.
Yeah, how come
Hoyce, Hickson, all those guys, they were my guys.
no one's really done a movie on that?
No, but that's the thing I want to do. And then I can involve Dana and you and all this stuff, but I want to tell it from Brazil.
That's a great
And then
idea.
bring it back.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a big epic, but I see it in my head. That's what happens. I see things finished.
The Gracies are the most important family in the history of martial arts.
Totally.
They're the most important.
Totally.
They're the most important contributors to the overall.
100%. Hey, it's in the culture, man. Watch a TV show and the lead actor's doing a choke and an armbar.
Yeah.
It's like, what? It's like a big permeate. Because when we did it, the police would come. We'd have to leave. The cops would come. You know.
They've got it so that the whole world practices jiu-jitsu.
Yes, I see it.
And it was all them.
The
they
kids
started
are the
it all.
kids. Yes,
It was having Hoyce on TV for UFC 1 started it all.
Yes.
I remember it.
And you're a big, big part of it.
Well, thank you very much.
Big part of it. You're part of that culture. In other
I'm a
words,
professional fan.
Yeah. Well, when you
It's
are,
nice to
and the way you handle
be able to do
yourself is like Dana's guy. And between the two of you, without compromising each other, you do a brilliant job. If you left the show, I would be very upset.
Well, if Dana leaves,
as a fan.
if Dana leaves, I'm gone. That's
There
in my
is no
contract.
show. without Dana White.
No,
There is no
no,
show.
no, no. He's
Take it down 60%.
yeah. What he does is very different.
He knows what the fighters are. He knows what their drama
Yeah.
is. Shut the fuck up. You know how hard it is to do this fucking show? You don't know fuck all. You don't know how to fucking fight. Now shut the fuck up. Then he goes,
He's a real guy.
Oh, man, he's great.
He's a real guy. Like
He's
that's
great.
really him. He's a real guy all day long. That's
I'm
Dana
nothing
White.
to him. But to say that he loved me, and you know why? Because I made Vision Quest. And Vision Quest, he said, changed his life.
Changed so many wrestlers'
Yeah,
lives.
that's it. That's what I was learning to wrestle, and that's why I did that show. And I found Madonna.
You know, it's
Madonna
one of
was
my
in Vision
favorite
Quest.
scenes in that movie, in any movie, is the scene where the guy who works at the place with him is telling him about the soccer player
Yeah.
and about how he is watching it at home, and just for that one moment, everyone gets elevated.
Yes, it's true. It's
Yes,
true.
it's a great
the
speech,
fight
though.
The other night, when I had the first time in my life, and I've seen 1,000 fights, and I've been in 200 of them to the death almost in the street. When that guy was getting beat up by that black guy and he was punching him like a bag, I looked away. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
It was the first time. It was so brutal, and it looked great. On the other hand, what's he gonna do when he comes across someone that can punch and really bob and weave?
Which guys are you talking about?
The black guy and the Samoan guy.
Oh, Cyril Gahn and
Yeah,
Tai Tuivasa.
I'm bad with names, I'm
yeah, no
sorry,
worries,
yeah.
no worries.
Yeah.
Cyril Gahn, man. God damn, that was good.
Yeah.
He's insane.
Yes,
He's
yes.
he's such a smooth striker.
But it was a perfect storm.
yeah.
He didn't have anybody coming at him. This guy was big punches. He was always open.
Well,
in the
Cyril
center.
Gahn is just very agile.
Yeah,
He's very
he was
unusually
great.
agile
That's
for a
right.
big
Listen,
guy.
when we started, there were no black fighters. I used to say, when we get the black fighters in, you're going to see rhythm and movement and punches and things coming from here and there and everything else. Dancing, man. Life is a fucking musical. You're either in it or you're out of it. And you have to make your own life, which is what all these guys talk about every day, their own musical, where they own pieces that work, that fulfill your life to make you happy. Because if you're not happy and you have money, you have nothing. Take it from me. This year, twice in the hospital for what they call accidental suicides. And because we were breaking up, and I was self-medicating, which I've always done, legally, but not so much. And luckily,
That's a hilarious definition right there.
What?
Legally, but not so much.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I was self-medicating legally, but
Yeah, exactly.
a little sketchy.
Yeah, so it's I know the feeling
Yeah.
of just, especially at my age, 77, people, I'm preparing for another 20. So I'm in training for another 20.
Beautiful.
The way I eat, the way I think,
Listen,
the way I do.
You're alive right now. All you have to do is just keep
One day,
pushing.
One day at a time, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like when you're at a certain stage of your life, if you're mobile and you want to do better, you can do better. If you're
Yeah.
alive, you can get better.
Totally.
100%. Everybody can. You'll
know
feel better.
I know a lot of billionaires are dead.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's so much stress involved in that kind of
That's
a
the
job.
problem.
Do you see Mark Zuckerberg's training MMA?
Yes.
He's really pretty good
Yes,
at it.
yes, good
it's
for
like,
him.
I mean, for
Good
a
for
guy,
him.
he's doing the right thing. I'm looking at the exercises
I
they're
saw
doing,
him on
the
the
drills.
show. I saw him on the show.
He was great. Interesting.
And that's one of the,
Crazy job that guy has.
because he's a genius.
Yeah.
And now he has to feed the genius.
But I mean, imagine being responsible for 3 billion people's content, and also you have shareholders,
I
and also
couldn't
you
do
have
it.
like CEOs and all these people in media.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to sleep. I don't know how he does it.
Me neither.
And he said that training was one of the best things for him because he was running, but unfortunately, running, he said, made him think more.
Yeah.
So he's thinking about all his problems
Yeah,
while
'cause
he's
he had
running.
quiet time. And
But
he had
when
the
he's training,
endorphins, yeah.
right? But when he's training, he can't think of anything else.
don't
Like when
wanna
someone's
get-
trying to tackle
you don't
him,
wanna get hit.
Exactly. So all you're focused on is that, and that cleanses the mind.
Have you ever been in a fight where it's full blown to whoever gets knocked out?
You being like a full contact fight?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I mean, like a street fight.
No, I didn't really get in street fights.
Yeah.
No, I avoided street fights. I mean, the last street fight I had is probably I was like 14.
Yeah.
I had the last one I got in, I lost, and the guy didn't even hurt me. He got me in a headlock. Like, I didn't even know we were going to fight. I was like, why is this guy staring at me like this? Like, he got in my face. He grabbed me in a headlock, and he threw me to the ground. And he got on top of me in the bathroom, the boys' room. And he went like that. He was going to punch me, and then he'd laugh. He was like, nah, I don't even have to. And he just let me up. And it was humiliating.
Yeah.
It was humiliating. And then I realized, like, oh, my God, I got to learn how to wrestle. And then I joined the wrestling team.
Oh, wow.
And then when I wrestled, I was wrestling, and then I started doing Taekwondo the same year. And I liked Taekwondo a lot more. I just liked the idea of knocking someone unconscious. It was very exciting to me. Yeah. So I got involved in that, and I did that for...
There was a time when Jerry Bruckheimer was partners with a guy named Don Simpson. Don Simpson was a genius, and so was Jerry. Top Gun is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. I've seen
movie.
It 10 times. I just watch it over and over and over and over. It's so damn fucking brilliantly done. It's like I did Stars Born 2 years ago. We had the soundtrack. We have the thing. They had everything.
And at the time, Top Gun was just blew the roof off the world.
It did, but this is better. This one that they did now.
The new one you think is better?
I
need to watch it.
Wait,
I haven't watched it yet.
The cameras are in the cockpit, man. And they go like this. And you're in the cockpit. And you got the music. And you got the score. Talk about a musical. It's a musical.
Wow.
And he's phenomenal. You're going to go, how's he doing that? How's he doing that?
Do they play Highway to the Danger Zone?
Yes. The hair steps up in the back of your neck, man. You're like,
Of course they do. Of course they do.
It's crazy.
That's amazing.
The brilliant movie. I called Bruckheimer. I said, look, you're the camp, man. I love you. This is a brilliant movie. But see, it's like I am with them, the way fighters are with each other. You know, if somebody's good, they're damn good.
Right. Yeah, look, that's a classic movie. That's a goddamn cool. Do you have a favorite at all the movies you've done?
Well, I like Batman because it was one that it broke. Nobody had done anything like that before.
Right.
And I had a big affair with Kim Basinger over there, and we fell in love. And I hired all UFC fighters to fight my stuff. There's no such thing as UFC fighter, but those guys,
martial arts guys.
Hit guys from the tongue, sword guys.
Oh, wow.
2 guys went to the hospital. They got cut because I pushed the limit on the damn thing. And we shot it on the table with the fight sequences, with the way we shot it, everything that we did. It may not look like it today, but in those days, Tim Burton was going to use a 6-inch knife. No, we got the blade and we got the guys, and they did the thing. So
Michael Keaton was a great fucking Batman.
Genius.
He was a great fucking
the best.
Batman.
Because he's the best actor in the world. He's one of the top 5 actors who's ever lived. Look at his career. Look what he does. Look what he did on Quaaludes or whatever it is, on Vicodin or whatever it is. That 3-hour piece is, and I'm sure he's in the program. I would have to guess. I know he did because I hired him out of a movie called Clean and Sober. And I saw in his eyes he could fight, because as a kid I got in so many fights, but I would read your eyes before I'd even make a move. If I saw something I didn't like, I'd probably figure a way to get out of it. And that's how I went from Hollywood to the chairman of Sony, to biotech companies, to this, to that, to the UFC. Maybe it would have been great, because I have good instincts, and I kind of have like ordinary taste, let's say.
Did people resist? They resisted Michael Keaton as Batman initially,
Nobody wanted him.
Yeah. They didn't like that idea that
They
a comedian,
wanted
because he was a stand-up comic.
Yeah, they wanted a 6'3" guy to come in with the big muscles.
Right.
I said, no, look in his eyes. He's a killer. He'll stab you 5 times in the neck before you even know what happened.
Is he your favorite Batman?
Yeah.
Christian Bale's a pretty fucking good Batman too.
Brilliant. He was
Pretty
brilliant.
fucking
Yeah,
good
those
Batman.
two guys.
That guy's willing to do things that most people are not willing to do. Like, he's willing to get fat. He's willing to, like, almost die of starvation.
That's how they have a career.
Yeah, it's just like, if you watch that Machinist, which is not the best movie, but what's interesting about the movie is just Christian Bale. The fact that he's basically a skeleton.
Yeah.
He ate like a can of tuna and an apple a day.
They're crazy. Listen, actors,
He's
most
a
actors
nut.
are crazy. He's crazy.
And then,
You
like,
have
6
to
months
be
later, he
crazy.
was Batman.
Yeah, I know.
Jacked.
I know. You
Yeah.
have to be crazy.
You have to be crazy to be
Jack
that good.
Nicholson is my good friend, and he's crazy as a loon. But
Has to be.
And a brilliant guy. And thank God he kind of retired like 10 years ago.
Watch Chinatown.
Yeah, I
Watch
know.
Chinatown.
I do. I love.
Fucking amazing.
I know.
Like, that guy, of course he's crazy.
Yeah.
How else could he be that
you
good?
You can't. I'm standing on a corner, La Cienega and Santa Monica, and with my wife at the time, Leslie Ann Warren. She's pregnant with my son. This goes back 50 years ago, maybe, whatever it was. 4 guys pull by in the car, and they go, "Cinderella sucks," and they flip it off. Now, I'm from the Valley. So I said, just wait. She played Cinderella on television. That was her thing. So I said, wait here. I jumped in my car, and I chased these guys down the street. I caught them at a signal. I came up next to him. I was about to hit him. He said, no. I'm in her acting class, man. We're all actors. That was a joke, whatever it is. Many years later, I do Witches of Eastwick. And we're going to meet Jack Nicholson. And as I walk in, he looks at me and says, "Hey, Cinderella sucks." It was him.
It was him?
Yes.
That's hilarious. Holy shit.
Yes.
Oh
yes,
my
yes.
God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, no,
You almost beat up Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it was
That's
like,
hilarious that it's him all those years later.
I was defending what I thought was my
incredible.
pregnant lady.
How fucking good is he in The Shining?
Yeah, no, he's
I watched that again recently too. God,
he's a
genius.
Yeah, he's a genius.
There's a few of those guys that like they. Have you ever seen the video? I'm sure you have. There's a video of him warming up for his scene where he goes through the bathroom door with the hatchet.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
and he's just like jumping around the room and getting so
yeah,
fired
he's
up.
crazy.
I'm like,
and
God damn.
He never knew how to fight, but he's a tough guy.
Yeah,
He'll fight if he has to.
he was an
He's
extraordinary
got big, strong legs.
talent.
Yeah.
There's people that just like captivate a story, and so like when you're like casting, when you're like putting together a film,
Yeah.
and you got a big film that's very important to you. How do you know who the right guy is? Like, do you just go on instinct?
How do you know who the good fighters are? They speak to you. They speak to me. In other words, I knew that Brad and Angelina together in the right thing would be amazing, right? And it's a love story, fell apart. So I'm going to get Brad again, and I'm going to try to get Margot Robbie or somebody like that. But if I get it for a guy, I want to work with him. If a girl gives it to me, I want to work with her. They speak to me.
They speak to you.
Yeah.
So for you, it's just about how you communicate with them.
And when their energies.
The
what
feeling
they've
you
done.
get off of them, right?
Victor Belford, when I saw him the first time roll with a couple of, like 3 guys in a row. And when Catherine Zeta-Jones went, ooh, amazing, his balls were hanging, they were those little tight things, he's ripped like shit. And I come in like, I'm doing my sit-ups and stuff, So, no, it's just like I have a gift of instinct. Look, I've been following you from the beginning, man. Of all the people in the whole world, whether it matters, you're the only one that I wanted to talk to because I figured you're the only one we get what I am. I couldn't talk fights with anybody, and I really love it more than anything.
Well, I appreciate that very much, and it's an honor. It's an honor to have you on. It really is.
Yeah, so I'd love to come back another time, sometime maybe.
You can stay on now.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
We can keep going, man.
Great. So listen, I'm going to tell you something that's not supposed to be. I shouldn't say this.
Don't.
Okay,
don't get yourself in trouble.
Okay, I don't want to get.
I think you already got into a little trouble.
I did already. All I can tell you is,
I love that. I love that you're you, though. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
me, man.
But I love that. That's the hardest thing that people have. That's
I
the
don't know
hardest
how to
problem.
be anything else.
So many people, they get stuck in a job
My
where they can't be
sister
themselves.
died yesterday.
What?
Yeah, and I found out at 3:00 in the afternoon, and it really shook me up because she has 5 kids. She was 58. She had been having a hard time, but she just had a fall and a blood clot and this, that, and everything else. So, I didn't want to cancel this because this is more important to me. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll help take care of the business. She has a husband, but these things happen. And I told you, when that happened with my dad, it hardened me. It hardened me. And not until I met Julia did she really open my heart. And then came craziness, drugs, because my heart was open. I was feeling good and bad things. Once you open that door, man, a lot of shit comes out. And that door can be opened by your children, by your wife, or whoever.
Yeah.
But not everything comes out good.
So you realized before that you were kind of protecting who you were.
Totally. I was numb. I was dating 20 women at a time. My plane would pick them up in Paris and bring them here and jacuzzi and this and covers of magazines. I was like a
So you were distracting yourself with all this stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
Till I met this woman, therapist, Dr. Bita, and I just sat on her couch and we both cried. She held me for an hour and I began to unravel the mystery.
Have you done much psychedelic drugs?
Early on.
Early on?
Yeah. Psilocybin.
How long early on?
Not like today, probably 30 years ago.
How come you haven't done it more recently?
Because anxiety scares me, and I'm afraid if I lose control, what's going to happen.
You know, the way to get over that is to do it slowly, like microdose.
That's what my girl wants to do. She said,
Yeah.
let's microdose.
I think it would be good for everybody. It's it's really good for soldiers who come back with PTSD.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm a soldier that came back with PTSD.
Yeah,
Went to juvie. My early beginning, my stepfather beat my mother up every night. One day I got a 2x4 and broke both his legs. That's how I got to juvie.
Yeah. That's 100% the same kind
Yeah,
of thing.
I used to watch it for a year.
Trauma.
Blood, yeah.
Yeah, that's real PTSD.
And he would drink, and
that affects kids sometimes in a way that they don't even realize until
when I
they're
would
adults.
fight, Joe, I didn't feel the punches, ever. I went right through everybody. I never lost a fight. And I was a gymnast on the
You never lost a fight?
Never. Now, a lot of reasons. I wasn't a professional fighter, and I could choose where I got. It was the only reason.
So you just made good choices.
I made good choices.
Yeah.
I made good choices, absolutely. Could I have lost a lot of them? Yes. I started training. This fella took a liking to me years ago. His name was Art Aragon, and he's a Spanish fighter.
It's a great name.
Yeah, he's a Spanish fighter, and he had razor blades for hands. And he, early on, taught me how to box. And so I had a mixture of lots of things. And Bob Otto, we were going to talk about Bob Otto. My grandfather, who worked for the May Company, was a big department store, the Italian side, Pagano. He ran the alterations department, and he had a lot of people working for him. And so in the valley, he had a couple acres, and he had a house, and one of the houses Gardner lives on. Gardner was Bob Otto, the early teachers of the Gracie's dad. And he started, the first thing he ever did was choke me out with my own jacket.
What was Bob Otto's style?
I don't know, jiu-jitsu.
So when you say early teacher of the Gracie's
Well,
dad, what do you mean?
in other words,
he trained with them? Is that what you mean?
When I met them and I brought it up, they acknowledged him. And his dad had known him. Under what degree?
Oh, so they trained together.
They may have, or their reputation me, because Otto was huge, had 2 schools, 500 kids. I mean, had a big operation.
Right.
So I learned early because the way I was going to Van Nuys, and Van Nuys Junior High School in those days was all Hispanic. A lot of fighting.
You know who's a super legit martial artist and an actor is Chuck Norris.
I trained with him for 4 years.
Did you really?
Yeah, on Ventura Boulevard.
No kidding.
With my son, yeah.
What years were this?
I don't know, a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I trained
Chuck
with him.
Norris was a
Those
legit
kicks.
karate champion. Yep, incredible kicks.
Yeah.
And then recognized that he needed to learn jiu-jitsu, went to the Machados and got his black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He's legit, 100% above board.
I know.
He brought in the Machados to all of his Chuck Norris academies. They all taught them. They were all like humbled. They like realized like, oh my God, I'm so vulnerable.
Yeah.
All these guys back in that day, like in the Gracie in Action series,
Yes.
all these guys who thought they were killers. They
I
were
know.
so vulnerable. They had no idea.
I understand. I was there.
It was amazing.
Watching those guys do 4 or 5 fights a night.
Yeah, incredible.
When that crazy man came in with the cross. And,
Chemo.
And
Yeah.
ponytail.
Yeah, Hoist was grabbing him by the ponytail and punched him in the face.
I know. I loved it, man.
Yeah, it was incredible. We
I
caught him in an
loved it.
armbar. It was
Yeah.
that was like a 4. We talked about it the other day. It was like a 4-minute something fight.
How about that Oriental guy and the fireman holding each other? Bang, 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 bang.
Oh
bang.
yeah, Takayama and Don Fry.
Don Fry
the Predator
was one.
Fry.
If he could move,
He was one of the toughest men that's ever lived.
wow,
That guy was a fucking monster.
amazing, man.
He's all banged up now because of all his surgeries, and
Yeah.
he did some pro wrestling too, which is not so
Yeah.
good on the back either. You know, Don Fry was a beast.
Yeah, I've had a lot of my back has been a problem too.
Yeah, everybody that trains.
Yeah, well, you
train
can.
hard.
Well, you'll see when you get
Yeah.
older. You're a kid.
I'm old.
Yeah, you're a
I'm
baby.
55.
Yeah, you're a baby.
I'm a baby. Oh, nice.
I'm 22 years older than you.
fuck
Come
yeah,
on.
I'm
You're
a
a baby. You look like a
baby.
teenager, man.
Yeah, like a teenager.
Look at your life.
Like a little kid. Yeah,
Look at your
well,
life.
basically
you smoked a
childlike.
joint and
Yes.
you made your life work.
Very childlike in that regard.
No, inspirational.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's exploring the things that you really dig and like. And it's inspirational. A lot of cool people in here. I love everybody.
Well, I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate that I could have conversations like this with
Thanks,
you. It's
thanks,
fun.
man.
It's,
Thanks,
it means a lot
thanks.
to me.
It means
it's
a lot
a cool
to me
thing.
too, man.
It's a cool
It
thing
means
to be
a lot
able
to
to
me
do,
too.
and I'm glad you chose this.
Thank
It's
you.
I'm
As
honored.
I wanted. And
I'm honored.
I said to Dana, he He's the only one who'll get me. Otherwise, there's no point. What's the point?
Yeah. Well, when Dana contacted me, he's like, I hate fucking doing this.
Yeah, I know.
He always, because he doesn't do it with most of the times
I
people.
know.
But with you, I went, yeah,
Yes,
fuck yeah, let's
yes.
go. Let's
well,
go.
I'll tell you a story that he won't tell you.
Uh-oh.
He,
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me the whole world. If Dana won't tell me, don't tell the whole world.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell the world.
Okay.
So I called him up and I said, look, Dana, I said, I got an idea. Let me do a little special on the fighting girls of the UFC. He said, done. So I said, okay. So I put together a team. I started putting this thing together. I had these amazing girls hosting it. It was incredible. He calls me back almost when it's done. Actually, it was almost done. We were just done editing. He said, can't do it. They don't want any outside producers. And I had already spent $60,000. So I went, that's cool, man. I love you. I said, I don't want to cause a rift. He said, you said yes right away because you love me, not thinking that the new company has rules. And I'm a kind of an outlaw in Hollywood, so I get it. And that was that. And he was a mensch. So when I called him, I said, look, I need a favor. I really want to do this before I die. I said, it's important to me to speak and then take a look at it and see what I look like, because I don't know really. And he said, I'll talk to him. That was it.
Well, I love Dana to death. So anytime Dana has something like that, I'm down for it.
Yeah, that was really sweet.
He's the best.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
Yeah, I do too.
You know what I say in every weigh-in? I said Dana White when I want to introduce everybody. I say Dana White, without him, none of this would be possible.
None of it. None of it.
Yeah, he's you got to realize, like, the success that it has now, a lot of it is that guy's driving
Heartbeat.
force. He's a fucking maniac.
Heartbeat. His heartbeat.
He lives for
your
it.
Heartbeat.
He lives for
the
it.
wrestler guy, I love him, the heartbeat.
Dana and I'll call him sometimes at like midnight, and we'll talk on the phone for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Just talk about fights.
Yeah.
Just talk about fights.
Yeah, I can do that too. Not as good as you guys, but you see, I do know a little bit,
Yeah, well, we've seen them all.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Up
so
close.
crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I've probably seen like 1,000 fights plus up close.
Yeah. No,
At least.
Yeah. The fella, the Brazilian kid that is so damn good looking. Did he do not
Paulo Costa?
Yeah, did he not? He looked like he was doing fine. He didn't use all of the body shots he could have. And all
Well,
that
Luke
stuff.
Rockhold is a bad motherfucker.
That's what I mean.
That's what it is.
It was a tough fight for him.
It's a tough fight. If Luke Rockhold was in his prime, it'd be a way tougher fight. If he fought the Luke Rockhold that beat Chris Weidman, is one of the greatest middleweights that's ever lived. He was a fucking machine.
Yeah.
But the reality of that kind of level of competition is you can only maintain it for so long.
Yeah.
Like every human body has an expiration date, where you start getting too injured and too fucked up. And Luke has been dealing with a lot of that himself. He's just not totally healthy. He's banged up. So all these guys, when they get to that point, there's like this point where they're like, bah! Where they're just firing on all cylinders. And that only lasts for like a few years.
Yeah, no, I lived it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Slightly differently, but yeah.
No, but I've lived it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. How so?
Well, first time was in the fashion business.
That's not the same as fighting.
Well, no, career.
Yes, career. But I'm saying, like with a fighter, they can't come back.
But it is the same of fighting. Except I'm fighting 500 people to get it done. See, it is the same because I've used that analogy throughout my career, knowing that I could kick the ass of anybody I was doing business with. It gave me an edge in the meeting, in my mind.
In your mind.
Yeah.
Right.
So now putting it all together, doing it together, sacrificing doing it, getting it out, having a movie be a hit, it's hard.
I'm sure it's hard.
It's not like fighting.
The reason why it's not like fighting is because the fighter's body stops working and their mind wants to continue.
Yeah.
Their body just can't do it anymore.
In a funny way, it happens in my business too.
It happens. I think it parallels in all forms of life.
If you're in the upper 1/10 of 1%, you do have a time when it's all over.
I think that's with everything in life.
It is.
I think that's the cycle that's supposed to take place, and then new people come up.
It does.
It's
Absolutely.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
And in a good culture, the new people salute the people that were there before them.
100%.
Yeah, and it's
yes, I agree.
It's mutually beneficial, and it's also beautiful. It's beautiful to see the art form carry on.
It is.
Whatever you're doing.
When I saw Top Gun and I called Bruckheimer and wherever he was, he called me back because I worked with him on Flashdance. I hired him.
Flashdance.
I hired him as my line producer.
God damn, you did so many good movies.
Thank you.
Pull up his IMDb. It's crazy. It's wild to see.
Yeah.
Just producing. How many did you produce?
as far as producing executives, because in our case, executive produce the same thing, because
Right.
we own it. See?
Right.
So we put everybody. It's like like Dana.
Like, what's the overall number though?
Oh, I don't know, with everything, 80, 90, something like that.
And
You
so
know?
many fucking hits.
Yeah. Well,
So many hits.
You know,
American Wealth of London, Caddyshack, The Main Event, Eyes of Laura Mars. That's a fucking classic. I haven't thought about that movie in a long time. Vision Quest, the greatest wrestling movie of all time. What was The Legend of Billie Jean?
it was a story about a young girl who took charge of her life because her mother was being raped by her father, and she went after these guys, and she was a first female vigilante.
Click on that. I know I saw that. But that was from 85? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember this movie.
I loved her, man. She was a wonderful lady.
I remember this movie.
Yeah.
All right, go back to IMDb. Female vigilante. You were in Gambler with Madonna. The Color Purple. Wow.
Yeah.
Clan of the Cave Bear. That was
Yeah. That girl is gorgeous. I forgot her name.
God damn it.
Yeah, there she is. Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah.
Yeah.
I have a Daryl Hannah story.
Yeah.
When I first moved to Hollywood, it was like 1994. I was at Cantor's Deli, and I was sitting tableside to Daryl Hannah and a couple of her friends. And I couldn't fucking believe that it was... First of all, she's so beautiful, no makeup, just sitting there chilling.
Right.
And looked so normal. Just hanging. I'm like, that's Daryl fucking Hannah. And she's just sitting next to me at Cantor's.
Yeah.
And they were real friendly. Everybody was real friendly. Hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm like, she recognized that everybody was going to know who she was, but she was like so casual.
Yeah.
And they were playing some sort of a game, some sort of a trivia game. Mm-hmm. And she looked to me, and I had the answer. Just luckily, it was like some state, something. And I go, it's like Kentucky, and it was whatever it was. I don't remember what the answer was, but like and that was it. That was all of our interaction. But I was like, she's so nice, like so normal.
She is.
She's a person.
She is.
Even though she's Daryl fucking Hannah,
big
like, it's one of the
star.
first people that I'd ever like sat next to.
Yeah.
That was that famous. So I was a little like weirded out by it. Like,
Yeah. See, I grew up with that because my uncles, the Paganos, the Italian twins, they did Marilyn Monroe. They did all the movie stars. So when I was a little kid, I was in their beauty shop.
Wow.
And I got
So
married.
when was the first time you saw like a movie star? How old were you?
Oh, 3.
Whoa. So it wasn't even weird to you.
No. And then I did their hair. See, I do.
Right.
On the magazine thing, clients come, they tell their friends. I was doing 30, 40 people a day.
So how did you go from? Was it Barbra Streisand? You
Yep.
went from hair to movies?
It was basically Barbara, yeah. I met her. I put the word out that I wanted to meet her, and I'd go anywhere, anytime, any place for free, and I knew the free would get her. And
John,
also-
are you a hustler?
Yeah, baby, I am, motherfucker, every sense of the goddamn word,
What a
man.
crazy question. What a crazy question to ask someone. Such a strange question.
I don't know, is Dana White a hustler? Are you a hustler?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you hustle, right?
Yeah.
Even when your leg hurts, you hustle. Me too. The
Yeah.
only difference is that I had to deal with overwhelming anxiety, which I have now pretty much got under control.
Well, that's another thing that
Just
mushrooms tend
just
to
going
help
into the
against.
fight, because everything was like a fight to me.
Right. So you were constantly
Yeah,
on
so when
edge.
I was a kid and we were at Van Nuys Junior High School and one of the Chicanos told me off, I'd meet them in the back of the gym. 500 kids would show up and we'd go at it. I'd take them out, I'd wrestle them down, boom, rap, pop, it was it.
Really?
And it happened 30 times. People would challenge me, the kids would come, and I always had a sense of dramatic. One time I knew I couldn't beat this kid. There was the bleachers, he was standing there. I went up on the bleachers and I did a Superman punch. I dove off the bleachers and hit him like that and knocked him out.
Really?
I went this way, that way, and he went out. Yeah. I didn't know it was a Superman punch. I used the bleachers as a launching pad for my punch.
That's a creative maneuver.
Yeah, I'm a creative guy.
I get it. I never got in any street fights like that.
Yeah,
I avoided them all.
One time, yeah, I was smart, but
Yeah,
I was
like, I
hurt.
gotta get the fuck out of here.
My dad died. I was in
Yeah,
a lot of
I
pain.
get it.
I didn't feel the punches. I didn't feel nothing.
Yeah, well,
I got
that's-
shot right in my chest. I didn't feel it.
You got shot in your chest?
Yeah.
What caliber?
22.
Oh.
So it stayed.
Why did somebody shoot you?
It was a gang fight, and the guy brought a couple of guns, and this guy shot the gun, and the bullet hit me in the chest. And then, like many years later, when I married Leslie Ann Warren, who was a big Broadway star, we went to the doctor, and the guy took me in the room. He said, I said, what? He said, you got a bullet in your chest? I said, shh, don't tell anybody. It was in the fatty part of the thing, and it's still there right now.
You still have a bullet right now. So if you go through an X-ray, it just shows up.
Yes.
Is that good to have lead in your body the whole time?
Doctors have said it's okay. It's in like a fatty part of my body.
Yeah, but isn't lead toxic?
Probably. It probably should come out. But do I want to be cut? No.
Yeah.
You know, when you get my age.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm done.
How far in it? How far did it go in? Oh, it's only like an inch in?
Yeah. In this part.
I might take it out myself.
In this part. Okay. You got an operating room behind this thing. That's good. Smoke another joint. Now we'll be a surgeon.
I got this little Benchmade pocket knife. We're good to go. I'll take that fucker out for you. Yeah, it's I don't think it's good to have lead in your body.
No, probably not. But
probably not.
You get to a point like me where every day that's a good day. Every day I'm grateful.
I hear you.
And I have to work on it.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I can't be around negativity.
Well, that's a good rule for everybody in life.
You're my age, you can be. When you're old, when you're younger, it's not so easy. But for me, I don't do it.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
All my people go to therapy. All my people talk about their feelings.
Whoa.
Everybody I have works on themselves. Otherwise, they can't be there because I'm a. Somebody called me a shaman once, but I see things in people, and if it's not good and I can't help, it makes me anxious.
Well, you kind of are a shaman if you're leading people in a spiritual direction.
And
you're trying to get as many people. The problem with the word shaman is it comes with culty thinking.
I try to help with money, with spirituality. I spend a lot of my day helping people,
Well, that's beautiful. That feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, the best.
Yeah, it's nice.
Tyson is maybe one of the consistently smartest guy I've listened to with all the guys on the thing. He's not articulate. He fumpers and schmumpers, but sometimes he'll say some beautiful things, man.
Well, he's a thoughtful person.
He's very.
And he knows a lot about history.
And pain.
Yeah, he knows a lot about pain for sure.
I saw the whole thing on the kings and queens and all that shit, but more so, he's developing his emotional intelligence. That's what gives you a happy life.
I got to see two sides of Tyson because I got to see Mike when he was not fighting at all and he was just running that weed company. And he came in, we had the greatest time. We just got high as fuck and laughed and joked around. It was so much fun. And he said he doesn't even work out. And I said, how come? He goes, I don't want to reignite my ego.
That's how I felt. I was afraid to get back in the gym, starting this thing, and then I'm tough on people. I lose my temper. I get edgy. What the fuck? Come on, man. Yes, that's when he said that, I went, oh, I feel the same way.
He said something when he was leading up to that fight with Roy Jones Jr., that the gods of war have reignited his ego.
Yes, I'm sure. But isn't he if he can find them, he's going to walk through them.
Yeah, well, in his prime, man, he was like no one ever before.
Who?
Mike Tyson.
Yes.
In his prime, he was like no one ever before.
But he still hits damn hard.
Oh, my God,
I can see how he torques his body.
Oh, my God. He was training with Rafael Cordero, who was one of the original shoot-to-box instructors from the old, like the legendary gym in Brazil. So Rafael Cordero came over, and now he's running King's MMA. Oh. And Tyson went to him to train.
Wow.
So Tyson was it was hitting mitts with Rafael Cordero.
Well,
it was fucking phenomenal watching him rip off combinations at 55 years old.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah. Amazing.
Oh, my God.
Well,
still.
Well, you have the same body, so do I.
I fucking definitely don't.
No, in the sense of compact and strong. Not long and
relatively
and lean. You know what I mean?
I prefer short and thick. But what he is he's he was a phenomenal combination of like a kid who came from a horrible background to getting adopted by this guy who was a genius boxing instructor and having incredible work ethic and having incredible genetics and having incredible drive. He was 190 pounds when he was 13 years old.
Yeah, amazing.
Built like a fucking tank. And Teddy Atlas used to bring him to these smokers. And he said, he's 13. Like, get the fuck out of here. He's 16. They're like, okay, he's 16. So he'd have to fight 16-year-olds because nobody believed he was 13.
The thing about Mike is that what beat everybody was his brain. Mike was very smart.
Well, he's very intense.
Yeah, but he's smart. He knew what to take from Gus.
Yes.
He knew how to be open to it. He saw that Gus would... Yeah, he's smart.
Well, Gus was a hypnotist. That's the other thing. He hypnotized Mike when he was very, very young.
Yeah.
And he trained him to think of nothing but the task. Like, you don't even exist. It's just the task. The task exists. Don't think about yourself.
I know. That's how I am.
He was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, you have to be that way. My partner, Peter Goober, God love his soul, yes, he's like that too. Everywhere we go, we'd fly around. He'd have 40 pages of notes, and I had no notes because I remember everything.
Don't you think that, like, for anything you want to do in life, like, if you really want to be at the top of your craft, you kind of have to be obsessed like that?
Yes, you have to be. You have to be driven. You have to want to be better. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to almost feel like you're going to die if you aren't.
That's where it mirrors itself in, like, everything in life, no matter what you're doing. If there's a thing that you find that you're obsessed with, no matter what that thing is, whether it's painting, making music, whatever that thing is, if you find that thing that you are obsessed with, that is the thing that's going to bring you the most joy. But you gotta like give it everything you have.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what I did as a hairdresser when I was a hairdresser. That was my thing, man. I'd go to Paris, the collections, the girls. I was like, oh my God, I'm in heaven. But I loved doing hair.
How did you get into hairdressing?
When I got out of juvie, my mother, the judge said you have to put him somewhere, so she put me in beauty school. And I had shot 5 guys, and
You shot 5 guys?
yeah.
How'd you shoot them?
Yeah. It was an accident. I never said this before.
5 people by accident?
Yeah. Well, no, it was a gang fight. It was a fight in San Fernando, and there was like 30 guys. And
Has the statute of limitations passed on this, or should we edit this out?
yes.
You're out there shooting
and,
people.
and it was somebody else's. Everybody in woodshop was making a weapon.
I remember that from high school.
Yeah.
I used to make nunchucks and say they were table legs.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And this guy came with these guns, and these guys was, and I bang, and then this guy and then I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? That was the changing of my life. That, and when I was in juvie, a guy that I met from Boys Town, which was in the middle of the country, a place where a lot of fucked up kids would go. He came from Boys Town. He ran away. He went to juvie, and they weren't supposed to. They weren't supposed to have things, and they covered it up. But he tried to get away, and they shot him on the fence right in front of me and 30 other guys. Oh. And he was fuck you. He was. I said, man, you're gonna get killed. You gotta shut your fucking mouth. You gotta take it cool. If you're gonna get out of here, you gotta work your way out. There's no escaping this. Strong, big, blonde-haired guy, farmer boy. Years ago, and then I'm getting tired, I got to go. But years ago when I was with Leslie Ann Warren, I had a beauty shop, and it was on the corner of Rodeo and Brighton Way. It was called the Jon Peters Salon. OJ would come hunt the girls. Everybody'd hunt the girls, because I'd have like 40 or 50 beautiful girls getting their hair done all day long. This guy comes in. My mother happened to be working at the desk, and he comes in big overalls, big tall guy, and he says, I'm here to see Cinderella, Leslie Ann Warren. And I came out, I said, I'm her husband. And he was like a fan of Mission Impossible, whatever it was, I don't remember at the time. Next thing I know, we went home that night, and he had been there in the colony. He had come to the colony. So I sent out a bunch of my guys, because a lot of the hairdressers I had were guys like you. They were tough kids that were smart, and they needed a chance. They went to beauty school, and they got out, and women were lined up around the block.
It sounds like a movie.
It is. My life is like a crazy
That
movie.
does sound
right?
like a movie. A bunch of tough guy hairdressers out there protecting you.
Right out in front with all the motorcycles all lined up.
Wow.
So
tough guy hairdressers on motorcycles.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
When the thing was over, the LA Times said they don't make hairdressers like they used to, because the guy was coming into the house. He had a little pistol in his hand like this. He was walking in. I had a mezzanine. I looked at him. I was naked. I jumped on the mezzanine, off the mezzanine, jumped on him. He went through the...
You jumped on him with his pistol?
Oh, yeah. I dove right on top. I didn't see it until I was in the air.
Oh, Jesus.
And he was like this, and it was dark, and he was backlit.
And you're naked?
And I was naked. Yeah, I woke up. I could hear him walking around. I wasn't thinking. I just moved.
That's a surprise. A naked dude jumps on you from a mezzanine?
And he ended up with 160 stitches, because he came to rob me, came to kidnap her.
Jesus Christ.
So we fought out into the colony.
Naked?
Me naked, and him in a farmer outfit, yeah. Good thing I didn't get a hard on, right? Oh, my God.
Yeah, good thing. You'd have questions.
It's a true story.
I believe it.
You can look it up in the LA Times.
That's a wild story, man. How have you had so many stories?
Well, because I grew up John Wayne, Elvis. I'm a living superhero, even though I don't ever do anything, but in my mind I am.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because those narratives are like stuck in your head.
That's why I like Victor. That's why I like, when I saw John Jones, I would like, oh, fuck, ooh, I love him, man.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, you love conquerors.
Yeah, yeah. And the wrestler guy I didn't like at the beginning. Now I'm madly in love with him.
Which guy?
That beat everybody, but kind of chubby. Your commentator fella,
Oh, DC.
Yeah, DC.
Daniel Cormier.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Love him.
he's incredible.
I love him.
You didn't like him at first?
But didn't like him. He didn't fit the view of what I thought he was supposed to look like. You know what I mean? And but I did like him, but not as much as John Jones.
Just his physique?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and just that he was more of a. Yes, it's just I like John Jones. He was my hero.
See, one of the greatest of all time is Fedor Emelianenko. And Fedor had the most unimposing physique. I mean, he looked strong, but he had a...
The Russian.
The Russian.
Oh, yeah,
he had
I
a little bit of a belly.
Yeah.
And he was always calm and relaxed.
Yeah.
And he would fuck everyone up.
Yeah, well,
he would fuck everyone up in his prime.
I always had good hands.
Yeah?
Big, strong hands, yeah. And, I'm almost 80, so they shrunk,
Yeah.
But yeah, I knocked a lot of people out, yeah.
When you look at Daniel Cormier, he reminded me in a lot of ways of Fedor's physique.
Totally.
Absolutely. They don't have low body fat, but
Yeah.
they don't get twisted.
Yeah, well,
the guy's a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah, I know.
Both of them, DC and Fedor. Fedor was a phenomenal athlete. He was so good. You
It'll
never
be-
saw him fight?
I did, of course.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, many times.
That was one of the biggest regrets. They never got him to the UFC.
One of the great fights that I saw was the black Telderman, whatever, the black guy with blonde hair, and that crazy guy from Europe.
Kevin Randleman and Mirko Krokop?
No, the other one, Kevin Randleman, and the guy. My son said he was in a bar once, saw him knock out about 10 guys. Bas Rutten.
Oh, Bas Rutten.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Was that guy tough?
From Holland. Oh, my God. Bas was a machine.
I saw him fight.
Yeah. He was the first intelligent, aggressive attacker
Really?
that was a high-level striker in
And
MMA.
built to fight.
Oh, my God. He fought Tyoshi Kosaka, and his neck was so fucked up that he couldn't even wrestle. He couldn't do any wrestling for that fight. He had some serious disc problems in his neck, and he wound up actually getting his neck fused later on in his life.
Amazing.
But he even when he was competing at the highest level, his neck was already fucked up. He was a fucking monster.
Yeah.
In his prime, Bas Rutten was a fucking
I know.
monster.
My son was training with him, and
He was one of the only guys that won off of his back. When he beat Randleman,
I know.
Randleman took him
I
down. He
know.
was just smashing him
I
off
know.
of his back.
I saw him. He was
Very effective.
bang, bang, bang. I saw it. Yeah.
It was very effective. You can't just assume that just because you're on top, if you're getting fucked up while you're on top, you're losing the fight.
Yeah,
Believe
but
it or
it's
not.
also called the guard, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah. And Randleman
mean,
was an
you know.
elite wrestler, but Bas Rutten had a very effective way of attacking off his back. And he was
did.
so powerful.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a machine, man.
Yeah.
He really was.
If you see an alligator go after its prey, they go like that. They don't go like that.
Right.
They move
back
and
and
boom,
forth,
back and boom, boom,
Chuck
boom.
and jive.
In, yeah.
Yeah. Moving around a lot.
Okay,
Jon
man.
Peters, you're the fucking man.
Yeah, I
Thank
love
you, sir.
this shit.
Appreciate you very much.
I got some great stories. One day I'll tell you again. Maybe.
Tell me more. Let's keep going.
No, I can't do it anymore. I'm tired already. You know what I mean? You wore me out. Can't you see it? I'm vibrating in
You're
the chair.
great. You look great, man. Look great. Thank you
The
very
guy
much.
that I watched the other day, because I studied all your tapes for the last week. I must have seen
You studied?
every single tape you did almost.
Oh, boy.
And all your clients and people and stuff. Yes, I wanted to learn. And what I learned was all I can be is honest, and whatever that is, it is. And what was I going to say? I can't remember exactly, but
You were yourself. That's the goal.
yeah, that's
the goal
it.
is to be
That's
yourself.
it. That's
you were
it.
yourself.
That's it. And this is, I relate to these kids. I love these kids. I've been fortunate enough to make a ton of money, and I buy and sell companies for hundreds of millions of dollars. And I've been, like I said, lucky. And I'm going to really start to now put some money to work in a way that's going to help a lot of people.
Beautiful.
Because there's nothing. Tyson, he said everything. I like winning, man, but I love giving. Because he's a sensitive soul.
Yes.
If you think he's anything but frightened to death about this fight, you're wrong. He's not excited about it. He's frightened to fucking death of it. And in that, and as he gets better, he's building his confidence little by little. But he won't really feel good until he absolutely explodes on that guy. That'll be the climax of his thing. And the real question is will he be able to wait him out? Because that guy's going to be dancing and doing and dancing and doing, and Tyson's going to have a hard time navigating that. He'll have to cut off the ring, and it's not going to be an easy fight. Because otherwise, if they fought, my God, I'm frightened for the other guy. Tyson would break him in half.
What fight are you talking about?
Tyson in a fight, maybe it already happened. I don't know.
Which fight?
The boxer?
Roy Jones Jr.?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that already happened.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it happened like a year ago.
Oh, what happened?
It looked like, if I'm being honest, it looked like they really like each other and they were trying not to knock each other out, but they put on a boxing exhibition. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. Like, there wasn't a lot of headshots. You know, they moved around a lot, and Mike Tyson hit him with some ferocious body punches, and Roy Jones Jr. is tough as fuck.
He is.
Because those are hard shots. Those are hard shots
That's
to the
what
body.
I was wondering about, yeah.
And, you know, Roy, he's had knee problems, so it was hard for him to train properly. Like, you see him running, it's kind of painful to watch him run.
That's me too.
And Roy's knees and his footwork and his movement was a giant part of his success early in his career. I mean, he was so fleet of foot.
I didn't see the date on the tape, sorry.
Oh, my God. If you watch the Roy Jones Jr., you saw Roy Jones Jr. in his prime.
Every fight.
Yeah, he was phenomenal, but that sort of style relies so much on speed and movement. And
I introduced Sugar Ray to UFC because he said spar with me, and I kicked him in the knee.
Sugar Ray Leonard?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I kicked him in the knees. What the fuck? I said, it's called M&A. I want you to take a look.
It's called M&A?
Well, it was called
I think that's a drug.
Ultimate Fighting Championships.
Right.
Remember with the orange thing and everything?
Oh, yeah.
I had all those shirts and all that stuff. You know, I went around everywhere. My arms were big. You know,
you were doing leg kicks?
Oh, I've been doing leg kicks since I'm a little kid.
Wow.
But I would do leg kicks. That's what I want to tell you about Don Simpson's story, is that we had an argument, and I chose him off, meet me in the Beverly Hills Park. First thing I did is put on my big boots because I was going to come up and kick the fuck out of him before I even put my hands on him. He didn't show up. He was afraid. But I was serious because he was taking snaps at me. And I said, why don't we just fight? And then it'll be done. He didn't want to.
So how did you know Sugar Ray?
Through everybody I knew. And this guy, Jeff Wall, just passed away. I've been kind of looking after his daughter. He was a great guy. He managed all these guys, and I got friendly with everybody.
And you would spar with him? You sparred with Sugar Ray Leonard?
Yeah, but not spar.
Just play
Yes,
spar.
yes,
Play spar.
yes.
Yeah. Because like that was back when Sugar Ray was still Sugar Ray.
He was not fighting then.
But how old was he?
Well, I don't know, but he was. I met him socially, so we didn't really do the sparring. We did was in the living room of somebody's house.
So
it wasn't in the gym. Yeah, we were fucking around. But
Sugar Ray still works out all the time.
Yeah,
he posts stuff on his Instagram. He still gets after it.
That's how he stays young.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see.
And he's got a great wife, and he's a guy of everybody for the most part that has really done it all. Got a great family, got a great wife, I think. He looks like he's made some money. He was an amazing champion. He's had a great life.
Oh, he was the elite of the elite when he was in his prime.
I flew in from Paris to see him fight Hearns.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the first fight?
Fucking A, man.
Wow.
Yeah. I was in Paris with Michael Jackson when he did his first thing, when he did Thriller and all those things. And there was riots in the streets. When he started doing his shit, man, Michael, and it was amazing.
Wow. Jon Peters, you've had a hell of a life.
Yeah, man. Thank you. So have you. And I'd love to come back at some point.
Yes.
Because then I can think about what I didn't tell you.
Yeah. Tell me some other stories. Fuck yeah. Come back.
Right, man.
Thank you, brother.
So much.
Appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.